The question is, why do I always do this to myself on every semester? But first, let's make some tea and grab something sweet.
Coming up on Call Me Margot.
9.75. Did I study? Absolutely not. He's like, can you guys not talk? I feel nauseous. I really want to throw up. Look at this beautiful jello that I made yesterday. I don't think that it needs tea with it. So let's start this video. I also wrote everything down so I don't forget one bit. First line says, it was January 3rd that I knew how up I am. Sorry for that. And January 4th when I had to wake up at 6:30. A few weeks back, Christmas break. Did I open gifts on Christmas? Absolutely. And did I study on Christmas? Absolutely not. Did I make a vision board and crochet at my free time? Absolutely. Did I study at my free time? Absolutely not. So naturally what I did, I got back in my dorm a few days early to prepare for my exams, and thank God that I did that. A little timeline for you. I think I got back in my dorm on January 2nd or 3rd. Then I had my first exam on January 5th, second on January 7th, then third on January 9th, and then after the weekend I had my fourth exam on January 12th, and then the last exam on January 15th, and that's when I knew that I'm done, and I haven't even started. A little to-do list. I had to write analysis/essay. It was about 3,000 words. Then prepare and structure my notes from iPad and compare it with slides and make it for these 4 exams. Then I had to study for the exams. And I also started a new crochet project, so obviously I had to also crochet because it was super exciting when you start a new project. Also, my professor sent back my another document and she's like, I would love if you would fix a few details, and I'm like, sure, I'm already stressed enough. And then also I had to download Snapchat memories because I requested data and the link expires in a few days. Yeah. Okay, so January 3rd, I'm stressing, and I was like, you know what? On January 4th, I am getting early and doing everything done. So I wake up at 6:30, fix that document to my professor and send it back. Now on the first exam, it was an open book, so you don't have to study, you just have to gather information. The problem is you might get one of the 30 topics. So I decided to go to the library, gather all of these 6 books that I might need them, and some of the information was on the internet, so that was great. Also for this first exam I had to write 2 essays, one of the 30 topics and one of the 8 topics. So where was those 8 topics? I prepared 8 essays. Yes, I did. And also you have, with that second essay, you had to draw like a scheme. So I prepared those 8 essays and drew the charts in advance. Thank God. That was perfect because I had a lot more time to gather information for the first essay that I will have to write on the exam. It is really important when you study to take breaks. So my breaks were slicing fruits, and while I was slicing fruits, I got a message in my mail that my Snapchat memory link is ready. So while I was slicing them, eating them, I just downloaded all of my Snapchat memories. January 5th, I wake up, it's exam day, I'm feeling ready, and then 30 minutes before the exam, my heart starts pounding like crazy and I feel nauseous. I really want to throw up even though I'm ready. Yeah. I think I mentioned when I went to the library to gather the books that I might need for those 2 essays. Guess if I needed a physical book that I had to carry on my back? No. First exam down, I got the topic that I wanted. Not that I wanted, but the topic that I knew how to write. So we're good. 4 more to go. Okay, now it's January 6th now. We wrote 1 exam. And you know what? Today is my mom's birthday. Can I wish her a happy birthday? Face to face? Absolutely no. So I write her a message. I wish her a happy birthday, and it's 7 o'clock and I'm going back to studying. I am prepping those documents to study. A little bit later, I am meeting up with my friend and we are studying in library. You know that feeling when you are tired of studying and you just don't want to study anymore, but you have to, so we start talking nonsense? Well, yeah, that happened, and also the view was amazing, so we started talking about how nice it would have to have a future home with these kind of windows. Damn. And also, as we're studying, it was library, so we kind of talked a little bit too loudly, I'd say. But this boy that was sitting here, like this kind of distance, he's like, can you guys not talk? Not talk. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but we are studying for tomorrow's exam, so it's not possible that we don't talk. We're just going to talk more quietly, thank you. What? Can you guys not talk at all? Not talk at all. So then we were like talking a little bit quietly, and I just looked at him and said, is this okay? And he's like, sure. A little bit later he left, got up and left. Oops. So January 6th, my mom's birthday, but I studied all day. Now I wake up on the next day, January 7th, another exam. What I do in the morning, I study, and this exam was one of the harder ones, and you have 10 questions. You have to get right at least 5 of them to pass. After we're handing in the papers, the professor is like, I'm just going to tell you the grade of the projects that you've done recently and before exam. And I go up to him and he's like, what would you like to get? And I'm like, I went to all of these seminars, to all of the classes, I did all of the projects that were needed, and I was like, I would love to get a 10 because the 10 is the highest grade. And he's like, we'll see. We'll see. Okay. So he is looking through the papers and I see my name and it says 9.75. And he looks at me and it says, and he says 9.75. And I'm like, 9.75? And he's like, yeah, some projects weren't like good enough or something. So trust me when I tell you that I went out of this exam super freaking mad. The exam on January 9th was super easy. The professor is super cute. He's so nice. So I was like, on January 8th, I might rest. And you know, my resting was waking up at 6 because my organism probably felt the need to wake up at 6 because I was waking up early in previous days and my roommates were sleeping. So because they also have exams, I grabbed my light, put it under the blanket, and I brought out my yarn and I just crocheted till 8, and then they woke up. And also on that day I got the results from the second hard exam with those 10 questions, and my final grade was 9, and I was like, what? No way. I was super happy because I really thought that I'm gonna fail, but I didn't. So one day of studying was good. Third exam, I'm feeling super happy because the professor, like I said, is super cute, and it's worth 30% of our grade, so not that much. So I do my curly hair routine. While I was doing my curly hair routine, I actually broke my claw clip. I tried to glue it back with my super glue. I made it worse and it broke even more. And when I tell you the walk to exam, because I had to get to my faculty, was super freezing. I went to the exam looking crazy and I got back from my exam looking crazy because that snow in my face. Third exam done. So after 3 exams, I only had 2 exams left. So I was like, you know what? I might just rest a few days. Not a few days, a few hours. I really wanted to watch this film and I finally could. It was People We Meet on Vacation, and trust me, I loved it so much. I crocheted also while watching it. Later, when I got my books and my notes, I noticed that I'm not gonna make it and I'm not gonna study enough for my next exam. So guess who was stressing out again? Me. On January 11th, I woke up at 7 And guess what? I studied all day. Oh my god, I'm making this jelly into a slush. And thank God that I decided to read a chapter from a book that my professor wrote. And the exam was online, but we had our cameras to be turned on. So that was an experience, but we got instant result. I got 8.75, and that made my final result a 10, because I think the exam was 30 or 20% worth of our final grade. So that was perfect. And of course, after exam, you want to rest. But my mom was like, would you maybe want to go buy me some elves, because there are none in the city right now? And I was like, you know what? I'm near this supermarket. Let's go. So I took a bus, I took a walk, and I brought home 5 elves, I think 3 girls and 2 boys. And one of them didn't fit in the bag, so one of them just had to stay in my backpack.
Oh my god. 4 exams done, and the final one is on Thursday. And I also have a bag of, wait, what are they called?
Elves. And then later I got back home, I made some pasta, I watched MacGyver, and I also, guess what I also did? I did some crocheting. The day before the last exam, me and my friend, we are having a study session, but I wake up with a blister on my lip. I still have it right here, as you can see. I also made some savory sandwiches because I was hosting study session in my dorm because we weren't going to the library. My roommates were back home, so I was like to my friend, come here, we're gonna have a study session. And then on that day before the study session, I also went to pick up my mom's birthday gift, which was handmade, like shoes from the felt, or what is it called, that wool felt, I think that's what it's called. And then later my friend came, and I think we started from 12:30 to a 6. I feel like we studied a lot, we talked a lot. The topics were not always about studying in that class. And you know, when you're done studying, when you just put on Matrix Destiny chart and you start talking nonsense, that's when you know that you have to get home. But no way, because there's still 5 topics that needs to be talked about. Yeah.
Last exam, and I'm done.
On the last exam day, I wake up and the first thing I do is check up on my lip. My lip is like plump, big. What the hell? And because this exam was at 3 p.m., yes, 3 p.m., I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this routine. Wake up at 6, then go to pick up my order, then study, then eat, then go to sleep, because after I sleep a few hours, I'll wake up and I have more energy to study, then study and go to the exam. Guess which part I didn't do? I couldn't do the sleeping part.
Just took a nap for 1 hour, didn't sleep one bit.
After sleeping, not sleeping, but just laying around for an hour, I was like, you know what, it is what it is. I studied a lot. I think I know some things.
Oh my god, all of the exams are written, done. What happened was, wow, let me just tell you real quick.
When I go to writing the exam, I get the questions, I know the answers to, I'm like writing, and then professor starts mentioning some names from the auditorium, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And he also says my name, and I go up to him, and he's like, you know that essay analysis that you wrote? And I'm like, sure. And he was like, I saw that your analysis / essay was really analyzed the subject well, so would you like to get a 10 and not write the exam? And I was like, sure. So those 2 days with me stressing and having study sessions and staying up all night, all day, and worrying too much, I didn't even need to write the exam. Yeah. So I went back to my dorm absolutely shocked. I ate a bowl of pasta, a bowl of this big a bowl of pasta. The next day my dad picked me up. I bought some flowers from my mom to finally wish her a happy birthday. I also picked up 3 grapefruits because I really craved them and it was on sale. Looking back, I wouldn't recommend doing this study method, but honestly, one day of studying and you get either a 9 or a 10. So I don't think that's bad. That's really perfect, to be honest. This totally slipped my mind, but let me show you what I got for finishing all of the exams and for great results. So I told you that I went to pick up my order on the last exam day. So I ordered tea tree essential oil. Then I had bought a grape seed oil and then jojoba oil. I'm gonna use this for my hair when I'm oiling it. Then this one I tried for my face and I'm not really sure if I like it. I haven't seen any results, but I used it one time. And this one I'm just going to mix it with a moisturizer and apply it on my face. So yeah, that's my haul for finishing the exam. I just remembered I forgot to tell you the results. So I got a 9 from that exam of those 10 questions. That's 9 of the 6 grades and the rest of them are 10. One exam I didn't mention because I didn't even need to go to the exam because I already had a grade beforehand because I did a lot of projects and I did a lot of public talking, which I hate, but that was perfect for me because I got a 10. So yeah, please don't do this. Just study after every class and just put that information in your brain. But thank you so much for watching this video and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!